of poverty and inequality as part of their health and nutrition portfolio. This collaborative effort represents a significant leap towards tackling malnutrition and fostering a healthier future for children and families in PNG. As Easter approaches, Port Moresby residents are being offered more than just celebrations. They're being given a chance to prioritize their health. A team of Chinese medical experts in partnership with Eliseo Supermarket has launched a special public health campaign aimed at providing free medical checkups and traditional treatments right in the heart of the community.
The campaign, titled Revive Life Health Together, is currently underway and continues into this weekend. The first health outreach took place at Eliseo Makana Supermarket on April 14th, with the second scheduled for April 20th at the Rainbow Supermarket. The goal, to make Easter a meaningful moment for families to reflect on their health and access services they may not otherwise afford. Chinese medical specialists from various fields, including pediatrics, traditional medicine, and breast surgery, have brought advanced equipment like portable ultrasounds and acupuncture tools to deliver accurate diagnosis and traditional care methods. A structured appointment system using color-coded cards ensures orderly access. Red cards indicate breast exams, yellow for traditional medicine, and green for pediatric screenings, each distributed in timed intervals. Beyond diagnosis and treatment, Eliseo is supporting long-term health awareness. In-store screens play educational videos on common illnesses, and customers receive pharmacy discounts with a medical card. Residents can also join a WhatsApp health community for ongoing guidance. With free screening, wellness education, and even basic health supplies handed out on site, this initiative is changing how healthcare reaches everyday people. The final event at Rainbow Supermarket promises even more support as Easter weekend unfolds. This Easter, health and hope are going hand in hand. As the second phase of the campaign kicks off this Saturday, Port Moresby residents are reminded that healing starts at home and sometimes even at the supermarket. Carol Kido Jr., TV1 News.
The impact of adult literacy training is evident in Katima village in Oro province. A food security program was introduced by the Department of Agriculture and Livestock program aimed at helping the community take care of their food gardens, store and manage income from selling their crops to address food shortages that resulted from regular flooding. However, the program could not be sustained because of a lack of basic literacy and mathematics skills. In 2016, Nixon introduced adult literacy training at Katima, and since then, there have been up to 16 graduates from the training. The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary is continuing its program of replacing hire cars with government-owned vehicles, with 184 cars returned to hire companies over the past year. Manning said the objective is to have a dependable fleet of RPNGC-owned vehicles before the 2027 National General Elections. RPNGC procured 135 new vehicles for police commands across the nation last year that are now in use. The overall cost of the new vehicles is 31 million kina and will save an estimated 54 million kina in annual hire car costs. Remington Technology has once again been recognized by Konica Minolta with the Sales Achievement Award for the Pacific Island region after exceeding an annual sales target for the second year in a row. As Papua New Guinea's only authorized Konica Minolta dealer, this back-to-back win highlights the strength of their partnership and the results their team continues to deliver. Remington Technology, in a statement, emphasized that they continue to provide reliable document and business tech solutions across PNG, with a clear focus on service, support, and long-term value. In overseas news, a new report says it has never been more difficult to obtain home insurance in Australia after a series of natural disasters in recent years. The Climate Council reports that 80 suburbs across Australia are now deemed critical risk zones and has urged authorities to work with insurance companies to find answers.
As Vicky and Jeff Woodhouse survey the block where their family home once stood, they think back in amazement to the scale of the floods that hit Shepparton in 2022.
We did not think that the house would be inundated with water to the extent that it was.
They were initially told by their insurance company they'd need to rebuild their property like for like, but they knew that would leave them unable to insure the new house.
To me, logically, why would you refit our home at the current floor level, which is setting me up to flood again?
Shepparton is the most at-risk suburb in Australia, with almost 90% of its properties considered uninsurable.
What we do in Shepparton, how we solve this, can be a blueprint for how we're going to solve this in hundreds of suburbs around Australia. But if we don't solve it, it will also be a blueprint of what demise looks like.
Climate risk analysis shows more than 80 suburbs around Australia are now critical risk zones, where more than 80% of properties are considered to be at high risk of climate-related damage. Getting insurance in Shepparton is now almost impossible.
We're seeing $30,000 a year increases, which is completely unrealistic.
But without it, there's no access to mortgage funds through the banks, a vicious cycle that's leaving residents high and dry, and the local council outraged.
They're not willing to engage with those community members because it doesn't allow them to generate more revenue.
But experts say blaming the insurance companies doesn't solve the problem.
Forcing the insurers to do things which are commercial suicide is not a solution.
They want insurers, banks and the government to work together to future-proof flood-prone communities.
If we are faced with flood events like we've experienced in 22, it'll be those same 700, 800, 900 houses that will be impacted again. We want to make sure that they can build back better.
Vicky and Jeff Woodhouse eventually negotiated a financial settlement and relocated.
We decided that it was all too much to build a new home and it was time to move on.
Drastic measures for a growing problem.
The Education Minister has sacked the entire board of the Victorian Curriculum and Assessment Authority following the 2024 exam debacle. A total of 65 VCE exams were compromised, with questions leaked online before students sat the test. The government has accepted all the recommendations from a review into the blunders, but it will take more than a year to fully implement them.
VCE graduate Caitlin Nguyen is forging ahead with a double degree at Monash University after all 5 of her exams were compromised last year.
I do remember feeling quite worried because I was unsure about what was going to happen.
The Education Minister is still dealing with the fallout after 65 exams were affected, today announcing the first results of a major review.
The status quo of the VCAA will no longer cut it.
The Minister says he's accepted all 8 recommendations, which include disbanding the entire VCAA board and installing an interim board, the appointment of a new chief executive, a collection of backup exams in case of errors, and the removal of cover sheets from student access.
This was an unmitigated, unauthorised process that was undertaken, and that has led to where we are today. So there will be no exam cover sheets going forward.
The review found the cover sheet error followed production delays, which caused staff to fall behind.
It concertinaed at that point, and as a result, something was done that shouldn't have been done.
Some of the uploaded covers contained transparent text, which could be viewed when pasted into a text editor. The last 3 years of the VCE have seen errors, and while the government says it wants students to have full confidence in the process, the lead reviewer says human error will always be a factor.
The likelihood of issues this year are as diminished as they could possibly be.
It wasn't the first time, it wasn't the second, it was the third time it happened in this state. The review should have been done after the first so we didn't have the third occasion of students missing out on the opportunities and facing the extra stress during their exams.
But Caitlin is satisfied to put the debacle behind her.
I believe they've learnt their lesson.
The second stage of the review is expected to be released later this year.
And that ends another news update. Join us at 6 tonight for more news and sports. Bye now.